Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Iowa soccer supporters. I'm Ben Brackett, your Soccer Talk co-host. Today, along my good buddy Matt Sahag, the Titan tactician. Matt, this is a different outlook for us.
It is.
I like it. We were trying to figure out how we would play if we might end up playing like Sahag as a left back, me as a left center back. Maybe that's probably the best way to think of us right now.
Yeah,
so
you definitely don't want me playing on the right. That's for sure.
Regardless, we are paired today. Seaver's out on wedding duty. I don't know. He's at a party basically. He took the day off. We let him have the day off. So today is the 1A, 2A, and 3A finals at Cyclone Sports Complex up in Ames. It's Saturday, so I don't think was it on Saturday last year as well?
I can't remember. I want to say it was though.
Fair enough. So
I just remember the weather was bad last year too.
Yeah, it's interesting how much the weather affects things and affected things all week. We talked about this yesterday a little bit on the pod, how the teams had a lot of rest, but then they turned around today. So, Denver would have played yesterday at, in the morning, and basically they had a 24-hour turnaround. Same with Hudson. Denver went to penalties. That's a little bit of foreshadowing in their semifinal. And so we'll talk about that a little bit. But ultimately, Matt, I know I'm sort of the guy on this one, so let me just recap it, and I'll ask you some questions about it. But first of all, during the season, Denver beat Hudson both times they played. So to me, it's not a best of three series, but Denver's probably thinking they've got the upper hand. They're probably comfortable with it, and Hudson, on the other hand, probably have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, I would guess, right? So we started. Kickoff was at 9 a.m. They played, let's say, about 30 minutes, and then there was an injury to one of the Hudson players. Hudson was controlling the game at that point, and it's interesting as throughout the day there were sets of sisters, twins, lots of familial relationships within the teams, and this group in particular, it was the freshman sister who had the injury, and the senior sister ended up continuing the game and ultimately really being one of the strongest players throughout. So she had I was listening to the broadcast, and on the broadcast they said they thought it was some sort of concussion, and that after she fell, the way she fell, she maybe hit her head or her neck, and she was grabbing her neck or her head, kind of back there, and then threw up as well. So so they said they thought it was some sort of concussion, some level of concussion. Our videographer said whiplash, so who knows? But so that really took the wind out of the game a little bit. And then the first half, they play the last 12 minutes or whatever. Nothing really happens. Halftime comes, then they play again. The rain starts with about 15 minutes left. And then with maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes left in full time, they go to lightning break. It's like a lightning break. And so it's 0-0. And at the time, really, there's nobody's threatening, whatever. But it just, again, takes all the wind out of the game. And then they go to overtime. And so, in the second half, the Cyclones, Denver, they were sort of running, had the run of play. So sort of tale two halves, and then a tale of disruptions. And so then they went to penalties, ultimately after two scoreless overtime events. And then and I guess I should say there was a huge chance with about 10 minutes left for Denver. They had a cutback, which, again, a theme of the day. You'll hear about how many cutback goals we had and how much we really appreciate when it's just proper soccer when people are getting to the end line and then making a purposeful pass and cutting it back to score. Right, Matt? We love that. We've seen it a lot. We'll see it a lot based on the rest of the day. So cuts it back to Gomez, who's a freshman, and she shoots it off the far post. Hudson sort of escapes, and then ultimately, as I mentioned, we went to penalties. So penalties. As I said before, Denver went to penalties against Appleton Parkersburg in the semifinal. So in my head, I'm going like, ooh, somebody's got a major advantage. And I was like, I was like, okay, so it's potentially Hudson has the advantage because they could have watched video, right, of all the goals that Denver scored, all their shooters and which way they went. So I just like immediately start taking notes. And so the goalkeeper who her name, let's shout her out, Charlie Austin. She's a freshman. She only allowed 9 goals all year, and she's played well over 1,000 minutes with a goal against average of 6 goals. That's her regular 0.7 goals in regular season play. So anyway, she guesses correctly on the first shot, but it's a good shot that scores. Then Hudson steps up and scores, so it's 1-1. Then Charlie Austin's back up again. She reads it to her right, stuffs it, right? Big save. Then she turns around, and she's the second shooter for the Hudson Pirates. She scores her goal, fired up, hops back in goal, again reads it, down to her right, saves it. So now it's gone from even to basically 2-1 with advantage to Hudson, and all Hudson has to do is score to win it.
Right. I mean, she's... sorry, I don't mean to...
No, not at all.
She's essentially taking
control.
Taking control of the game.
Big time.
In three plays.
100%. And so then Taylor Junker steps up. And so what I should say is that Gia Ball Viazedo, I think is how you'd say it for Hudson. Taylor Davis is going to UNI, is our understanding. She was a big-time goal scorer this year. She scored the second one. Charlie Austin, like we said, so I missed maybe one in there, but Charlie Austin steps up to score the third one after saving one, and then on the backside of that saves again. And then Taylor Junker, sophomore, wins it for the team, and so they are elated. It's just one of those like interesting, and I mean, you'd also wonder too, as you're, I don't know if, again, it depends on. Okay, let's start here first, Matt. If you're a goalkeeper in this day and age, you're probably already thinking about the penalties. Like at what point? Potentially, right?
Well, I mean, I think you're thinking about it. I mean, I think you've got to be thinking about them in training, right? Well, early.
Yes, absolutely. But then I'm saying, so when you get to the tournament, you're thinking about it at just like basic, right?
Yeah.
So the basics and we've talked about this a little bit before, Weston McPhee, right? But a lot of times, goalkeepers, there's different ways going about it, right? So you can guess, you can try to read the players' signs, and then you could also like do some research. And
right.
At high level, doing research is what they do. And so, before every game, goalkeepers probably know, like, here are the 2 or 3 potential penalty shooters during regular time. Here are the 5 or however many after it. And here's where they've shot. And, like, here's, like, what you can assume they'll do. Here's their run up. Right. Here's their rhythm, everything.
Right.
So you would assume at 1A girls soccer here in Iowa, they're probably not that they're probably not tracking penalties all year, right?
Right. No, I don't think they're going to be tracking penalties all year, but it's a little more simple analysis, right? For the high school, 1A goalie in this circumstance, right? Because
let's talk about most people where they take penalties.
Okay.
How would you take your penalty? Like back in the day.
Well, the same way.
Exactly. So
right.
How would you take your penalty?
I would probably take it with my left foot. So I would go.
You're left-footed.
Yep. Right. So I would I would line up like you normally would, and then I would just open up my hips and side foot it into the lower left corner.
Okay. And so you'd basically like make it readable for the goalkeeper, but you'd pick your spot and you'd go there hard and you'd try to tuck it in the side netting.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Perfect. So
I wouldn't say I make it readable, but I mean,
when you open your hips at the last second,
right.
he's most goalkeepers are going to say, okay, well, I
can
think
see
this
that.
is where he's going.
Right.
I can assume, so I should take that line. So, and I think any player at this level, whether it's it's like youth soccer, high school soccer, if they're being coached for penalties, it's pick a spot and be consistent and go to that spot and hit it hard to that spot, whether it's hard and low,
hard low and into the corner,
or if you're super confident, hard high into the corner. And then you'll see some people that want to like there's different ways to do it, right? You've got a different run up, a stutter step where, maybe you'll open your hips and you'll close your hips, right? But for the most part, most people at that level they have a way they're doing it, and they're doing it. And then if you're asked to do it again, you're probably doing the same thing, because not only are you maybe superstitious, but you're like, well, that's what I do.
It's your routine.
Exactly. So then enter this situation where literally the day before, and then you've got multiple breaks, right? You've got an injury break, you've got a halftime break, then you've got a big long rain delay. The game went 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Right. So you think about that, then there was plenty of time for, if she hadn't watched the penalties from the day before.
Exactly.
She had like 3 or 4 different opportunities to watch
just
them.
Pull up an iPad or a phone or somebody's laptop.
And even with the coaches, maybe even like develop signals, right? So like
exactly,
like the coaches could have the iPad, right?
Yeah.
And like, because there may have been a different order, right?
Correct.
And so she didn't have to memorize the name of the shooter and stuff like that. But okay, number 7, she shot right. The coach just does 1.
Exactly.
Whatever the signal is, who knows what they did? But
yeah, and it'd be easy. It'd literally just be easy to look over, and then the coach is literally just going to point the direction, and then whether they go high or low, potentially, right?
It'd be interesting to know if there was if that was done, or if she just made some really good saves.
Exactly. I'm also most impressed by her turning around.
They're really good saves anyway. But
yeah. Oh well, this is the thing. Is it's like tie goes to the runner in this situation. I would say, like, who's more impressive, the goalkeeper or the shooter? Always the goalkeeper. It doesn't matter if they know.
Right. And I don't know if I'd be more impressed if she did her homework and made the saves, or if she was able to actually.
I'm impressed either way.
I am too, but
that she steps up and shoots.
That's the and like, it's not like she shoots last, or first. She shoots second or third.
Right. Well, and so we've talked about this before too. Like, if she were to miss her shot, does it potentially change the outcome of the rest of the shootout? Like,
or if she doesn't save the second penalty.
Yeah, of course.
That's got to give you a boost of confidence. Of course.
So just super interesting. It was super fun.
I think what's most notable about that game, like you said, though, is just and take it in the context of the whole week, right? Is all the different scheduling issues. Scheduling is a huge task, right? If you think about it, because you've got to these teams are both coming out from the Waterloo area.
That's right, which is also very interesting. It's a 20 to 30 minute drive between the two of them, but like they could both meet in Waterloo in 10 or 15 minutes.
But they're on the yellow bus, right? Probably, most likely, unless they're getting charters. So it's an hour and a half to 2 hours, probably to Ames, 2 hours by bus. But then, with all the schedule changes this week, they think they're playing on they play on Monday, then they think they're playing on Wednesday, but then they don't play till Thursday. And then the Friday games get changed, the Saturday games get changed. So behind the scenes must have been absolute chaos, organized chaos.
Of course.
And then you get into the game, and then you've got an injury delay, a lightning delay, then you go to penalties. And so all that sort of upsetting out of the routine for the team that won it. Obviously was the team in the end who was able to keep it together mentally enough, because those delays do make a difference. And like you said, it sounds like at each one of the stoppages, one of the teams had the momentum, and momentum can be everything in a final like that.
For sure. And just talk about, as a coach, quick, how are you trying to manage players and when they have that time in between? Because you're basically going to the locker room, and what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, you just sit there, keep the mood light, and talk about, hey, it's your first 5, last 5, right?
Yeah.
Once the rain delay lifts, you got to get after it again.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other piece too, I guess they're probably singing, they're probably got music going. I think we probably would have been playing soccer, tennis, or something, or you'd be doing something to try to keep yourselves moving a little bit. So I remember one time in college, we had a game that went to rain delay, and we just sat around and we played we just basically did a game where we were all right, so if we were all pro players, who would you say this person reminds you of? And it was just sort of a, who do you look like / who do you play like game, and it was hilarious. But that was back when there was no cell phones, nobody had music and stuff right there, so we just you just sort of all right, let's keep entertained, and somebody just let's come up with a game to make us laugh. So I could imagine they may have done that as well. So anyway, whatever. So that sort of threw the whole day off, didn't it?
Yep.
quick start player of the game, Charlie Austin. Me feeling good about that. I bet you that 2-hour drive back, there was probably a lot of singing and dancing on that bus ride. What are the singing, dancing bus rides like for you, Matthew?
I mean, they're...
Because you only had a couple of them, maybe.
It's loud.
Maybe 3.
It's loud.
Yeah, it's loud.
Dowling Girls always they play the same song like once they hit Buffalo Road or whatever it is. If you're coming from the...
I can only imagine what is it John Denver?
No, what is it? It's like
Country
a
Road,
Carrie
Buffalo.
Underwood song, I think.
Okay, I don't know it. What I mean, do you know it? Can you give us a little taste or no?
What is it, like Before He Cheats or something? Is that a song?
Oh yeah.
That's all I know is they're singing about like you know, a guy cheating on a girl. Oh yeah, and that's the chorus, and they just it's loud. That's their song though.
Funny.
That's their tradition.
Well, nice. All right, well let's go 2A. So 2A ended up kicking off quite a bit later. Well, I mean, so what? Like in the noon 15 hour. That was the North Polk Comets against the North Scott Lancers. Obviously, North Polk up there in Polk City. North Scott out of Davenport. They were back in their gray and red, and North Polk was in white and red. Evan, what was it like? Could you, as a shooter, what did it look like? Could you see well? Because to me, I like watching it. Just the discernment between the two gray and red and the white and red. I sort of thought it was weird, a little visually difficult for me, but I don't know. Regardless. Anyway, so this was one of those games where first 5, last 5. So early on in the game, North Polk has a long throw that comes in off the left side of the field. Amelia Groudon, I would basically say that, I mean, she chucked it a bit. It was a big throw. Like, she made it to, like, the edge of the 6/ maybe, like, the near post. And then it just causes a little havoc, havoc, bounces around, and falls to number 2, Jordan Halverson. She's a junior, and she scores a nice goal early on in the game. So, and they came out, they were fired up.
Yeah, right. And that's all they needed, right? So
ultimately, yeah, and like I would say, North Scott never gave up, but it was also a game that just sort of like sort of plodded along. Like there weren't. Well, actually, I'm probably not being fair because, like, first of all, I want to talk about Maddie Corey for North Polk. She's going to Southwest Missouri State. She had a save in the first 5 minutes, and this goes to the first 5.
Is that just five. Missouri State now?
Southwest Minnesota State.
Oh, Minnesota State
program.
So
okay. I don't know.
Minnesota.
Is that? I don't know if there's a.
Well, so Missouri State used to be Southwest Missouri State, and that's what you said. I think you just spoke wrong.
Yeah. Okay. My bad. So fair enough. Anyway, so she has a save in the first half where like it's kind of a looping ball, and the other thing I was going to say is that like the rain changed the game a little bit, especially for the end of that 1A game and for the 2A game in particular. And that because that ball that they use, I was mentioning this to Matt. It's like hold on, I'm going to tell you what it's called. It's the Spalding TF 5000. So I remember playing with a similar version of the ball, and I know that the girls' union has just like a overarching master contract with Spalding for all the balls. For all the sports, which makes sense to me, but the soccer ball is inferior. And if you look at it online, it gets really bad reviews and basically says it gets waterlogged, and 2, that it can be a slippery ball on the turf. And so that's what I was looking for, was balls that were going to skip into the goalkeeper or mistake or defender, where the ball was going to skip. And in that 1A game, there was one situation where that happened, and Charlie Austin did really well with it, and she scrambled back and made a great save. And then in this 2A game with North Polk and North Lancers, both goalkeepers, Nora Barnett for the North Scott Lancers, and then I mentioned Madeline Corey for North Polk, they were both awesome and made some really great saves, brave saves really on like those high balls that sometimes will catch goalkeepers a little flat-footed or whatever, and they were doing really. I mean, you mentioned it too. You saw it in the game, and ultimately Maddie Corey, I thought she was. I don't know if she was man of the match or player of the match, but she was quite good.
I think one of the most interesting things about this final is, if you look back to the seedings of these two teams, you've got the North Scott was the 4 seed, and North Polk was the 7 seed. So North Polk won. So we had a 7 seed win the whole thing. That's pretty let's
Well, the other thing, and I'll give a little credit to Coach Frances Lee. She had the girls fired up. Won. The whole coaching staff was all dyed their hair. We talked about that yesterday, I think. But then also, I was late in the game. They were doing just little things. When there's a free kick, they were going up and standing in front of the ball and trying to slow the game. They were fine if the clock stopped. Ultimately, they just wanted time to let's really get organized and they'd rather have that. So I just thought it was smart. It seemed like they'd been coached to slow the game down when they were in that situation, which I think we can all appreciate.
Yeah.
And this was another one of those games. They were for North Scott. They have Kenzie Moeller and Allie Moeller are twins, and Nora Barnett, the goalkeeper, and then sophomore Reese Barnett, who's one of the main goal scorers during the season, also twins. So just funny how that works. I got to play with my brother for a couple seasons in high school. You got to do that, right? Mm-hmm. That's it's a pretty memorable and fun thing to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I remember it fondly.
It's a little different for me because I've got a twin brother, so we just grew up in the same. But we grew up in the same age group.
So you always play together.
I'm just saying it's a little different than older, younger, right?
It's but it's cool in both scenarios. Is
right.
What I would
and then
say.
I've got a younger brother. When we were seniors, he was a freshman, so that changed a little bit. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
So I think that's cool. Okay, so North Polk Comets, first state championship ever for the girls program. Yep. Kudos to you. Congratulations. North Scott Lancers, great season. Let's go to 3A, Matthew.
Yep.
Matt, you played both these teams during the year. You played Waukee Northwest Wolves and the Valley Tigers.
Yeah.
You basically said all year that Waukee Northwest is the team to beat.
Yeah. I think they were the best team the first day of the year, the season, and the best team the last day of the season, right?
They were the best team of the last year as well.
Yeah, right, exactly. Now, I'll say that, Valley, I thought Valley probably played them closer than anybody else, or most teams all season long in the regular season, but Valley coming into this game, from what we had heard, is they had 3 injured players from the semifinal. I'm not sure if they played or not, but it
sounded like a lot of their defenders as well. Those were the players.
So they hung in there to obviously the end result is 2-1. So that's a really close final, right?
Yeah. And
so I think they did pretty well considering the circumstances, and there was some controversy in this game.
There was a fair little bit. So they played earlier in the season. Northwest beat Valley 2-1, and that was the score this afternoon. Just quickly, talking history-wise and where we're talking overall, Valley's coach, Rob Chapman, this year earned his 500th career win, which is, only bested at Valley, I think, by maybe Aziz, probably Gary Swenson. But anyway, that's massive for Rob. And then also on the other side of it, then you've got Tony Gabriel. He recorded his 200th career victory this year, which is, I'm just saying, both coaches, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a lot of wins.
If Blake was here, he'd tell you, he'd ask you how many you won this year.
Yeah, it's going to take me till I'm about 104.
Sorry, that was for you, Siebes. Anyway, so just giving a little shout out to those coaches and the supporting staffs that have been there over the years. I know that there's also it's also interesting to me. I look in there and I see club coaches in the mix there. I'd love to see Maddie Smith coaches for Waukee Wolves, Sam Weeks coaches for the Valley Tigers. So those are Weeksy's over at Sporting, and then Maddie's he's John Sturby, also that's Sporting as well. Anyway, and then let's just shout out my elementary school PE teacher, Louis Suarez, Mr. Suarez. Okay, moving on. So let's talk about the game a little bit. The first half, all the action occurs in the last 10 minutes, really. And it's like a wild 10 minutes. Do you want me to talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, go ahead. I mean, Northwest opens the scoring, gets the second one up, so they go 2-0, right?
Let's talk about this before, right? Like, immediately before that, Valley has a very similar chance, cuts it back, Rotich, kind of like she gets through, plays a nice ball across. The goalie's, it beats the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper is near post, and it falls to, I couldn't tell you who, and she sort of just skies it. And she's going to be, I think she had time to take a touch.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was just, it happens. But then as soccer goes, as the game goes, turnaround goes the other way, and Joaquin Northwest scores a great first goal. Natalie Elliott, who to me would have probably shared player of the game. There's a few of them, but between her and then the goal scorer, Cora Sundet, right? So Natalie Elliott does well to get up the right side, beat a player a couple different times, get to the end line, and then looks up, plays a nice ball across, and just like lays it into some space at the back post. And Cora Sundet is she's maybe overrun it a little bit, but has time and quick feet to get back and finish it. And they go up 1-0 with about 10 minutes left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Natalie Elliott is it's player of the tournament, really.
I think so.
I think she actually ended up getting she's all-tournament team. I think she's named the captain of the all-tournament team, too.
I'll tell you here. But she was the quick star player of the match and the captain of the all-tournament team.
Right, and she's a sophomore, isn't she?
Yeah, so she was very good.
So, that's pretty cool. She basically has her breakout year as a sophomore in the final week. Again, I think against Dubuque Hempstead, they won 7-0, but she's on the score line. I think she scores a goal, gets an assist. Then she gets the game-winning goal in the semifinal against Centennial. And then today she gets, I believe, 2 assists, right?
That's correct.
So
Cora Sundet would be right there behind her as far as like player of the event. But yeah, Natalie Elliott. Because I'm not as good at the girls soccer thing as far as like knowing all the players and who they are. But I think I even said this to you when we were watching in the semifinals and the quarterfinals. I was like, who's that number 11? Because she is good. And Blake was like, you mean her? And he mentioned another player. I was like, no. Number 11. She's like, She every time she gets the ball, she's positive and she's always driving forward.
Right. Good on the ball, driving with the ball. Yeah, good passer, can take players on. Lots of really good qualities. Played a lot on the left this year. I noticed they moved her into the middle of the field. Both in the semifinal.
She started on the right in this game, so both of her assists come from the right side, and then on the second half they started on the left. So only to your point, they moved her all across the front three.
She can play all over the place. So what's interesting now, I'll say this: she's got a smaller physique as a player, right?
She's scrappy,
right? She's scrappy, and I don't say that as a negative. What I would say is, hopefully there's a lot of college programs who are not overlooking her, and I would say. And again, this is why I think, she had a breakout performance. She's put herself on the map, I think, probably for a lot of good Division I schools. If I'm Iowa State Matt Fannin, she's on my to-go get list. If I'm Lindsay Horner, I'm absolutely crazy not to be like banging on her doorstep.
Well, you better hope that the new Hawks coach isn't after her either.
Hawks, you and
they're
I.
the ones that have like the pedigree.
That's right, all of them. So, and those are just the local teams. So, good for her. She's at a breakout year, breakout week, all over the highlight reels, totally deserving of the captain of the all-tournament team. Does all the hard work on the goals too, right, today?
Yeah.
You talk about the cutback goal again. She gets end line, cuts it back for the second goal, and Cora just knocks it home.
Yeah, the second goal, she flights the ball to the back post. She looks up and picks Cora Sundet out.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I'm thinking of the first one.
Yeah, the first goal is the cutback, and then the second goal, she flights it to the back post, and we're talking all about Natalie Elliott, but Cora Sundet, I was saying, Cora the Explorer, she's leading the expedition, the championship expedition, because she was great first goal, like I said, great feat to get herself free, but then also, it was not a looping header. This was a bullet header. It was great.
I think
she's going to Loris. in the fall.
Which, okay, by the way, there are 3 girls going to Loish.
Cora Sundet, Kinsey Shea, Izzy Simeone. And
did we talk about this last time?
We did briefly.
Yeah, I mean, Loris has got some huge pickups there because I think...
Great goal scorer, apparently, in Cora Sundet, too.
I mean, not to, like, sort of criticize the level, but I think all of those players... I mean, like, if I was... I'm not a Drake coach, but I would take any one of those 3 players if I'm Kevin Brennan or Lindsey Horner.
Fair enough.
So Cora Sundet, what I like about her is she's kind of like, I mean, I think we don't see very many sort of traditionally looking, like physically number 9s anymore. Hold up, like striker players. She's tall. She's strong.
Rotich does a decent job on the opposite side.
Yeah, but she's just got a different physique.
And she's also much faster. Like she's getting in behind a lot.
Cora kind of just sits, and I know this from Planner too. She just kind of sits. She sits in really good spots, good areas, up high, and she's able to get the ball. She turns well with the ball, and she's got a nose for goal. And so it's everything that you want in a number 9. She can hold the ball up. She's strong. You can win balls in the air, and so. That's a really I mean, think about pairing like a Natalie Elliott who can play right, who can play left, and then down the center underneath a player like Cora.
Yeah,
like that's a really good matchup, and clearly it was the difference today.
Well, and then you talk about Valley, who's missing defenders, so like there you go.
Yeah. Let's. So we should talk about the second half. So it's 2.
Just real quick, actually, before you do that. Okay. Sorry. Valley's goal. So Valley makes it 2-1 right before half. So I'm going 2-0. Okay, this game's over. Valley has a long free kick from maybe half or thereabouts, and it's not dealt with very well by Northwest. And it kind of gets cleared back across the goal, and what's her name?
Kenworthy, I think.
Yeah, Bryn Kenworthy. She's a freshman. Powers a header home from like 12 yards. It's good. I mean, it's a good finish.
Mm-hmm.
So. Anyway, so we go 2-1. Halftime happens, and then the second half, like it's pretty even, but then there's a couple big moments.
Yeah,
a couple really big moments, right?
Right. Yeah. So the moment I would talk about is, I mean, so the ball comes
about 18 minutes left of this.
Yeah, point, it comes from Valley's right back, I think. Plays it forward. Northwest player kind of mishandles it. Rotich picks up the ball, again, gets on line. I mean, outruns Northwest. I mean, she's looking like running with the ball in this scenario. She's looking like the Big 12 sort of prospect and future Cyclone that Fannin and those guys would want. She does a great job picking up the ball, physically getting to the end line, cuts the ball back. There's another Valley player.
Picks the pass.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a Valley player coming right to the penalty spot, which is where you want her. And literally the ball is coming to the Valley player. It is the Valley player and the goalkeeper with a pass on the ground. She could have controlled it. She could have hit it first time into the goal. And the Northwest player literally pushes her just before the ball gets to her.
Two-hand extend. Yes. Like you see, because the thing about this is that, especially if you're keeping an eye on the broadcast, you can just go back and watch these replays. And in some situations, it's very clear what's happened. Now, we've also seen ones like we were talking about a call in the Northwest Centennial 4A final on the boys' side, and it was a little bit more contentious because it's you can't quite see it as well. But this one, the camera angle is really good. I mean, Girls Union does a really good job on they're called like the Iowa Digital Sports Network or something like that. They do a really good job. You want to talk about it real quick?
Yeah, I mean,
because then then after the foul happens, the ref's right there. In theory, the referee plays advantage, and lets it run to the next Valley player who takes a touch.
Bad touch.
Sort of, it doesn't take a great touch, and then it's sort of put off, like it's just sort of, like maybe panics a little bit.
Well, she's surprised by the ball, right?
Correct.
So, because the ball's hitting with some good pace and it's bouncing a little bit, and so as it comes by her, she actually, I think she thinks it's a penalty too, and so as it comes in, she just miscontrols it, and it takes her wide left, and by that time, everyone's able to recover, but I don't know how that's not a penalty. The thing, too, is if it's a penalty, it's got to be a red card. So this is
it just changes the game, and
completely. It's 2-1, right? It is 2-1.
And Valley's they're trying really hard to play back into the game. Like they're not. Sometimes we see these games and the teams aren't trying to get back into it.
Yeah, but
they were definitely trying to get into it.
Right, and so we're assuming that they convert the penalty, but if they convert the penalty, now Valley plays the last 15 minutes a man up, a woman up,
player up.
Like that is a huge turning point in the game, totally. And they will watch that and they'll clip it just like we have and. They're gonna feel like they they drew the short straw on that one for sure.
100%.
It's fun.
And then I just want to shout out the goalkeeper for Northwest Wolves because she was really good. Grace Thomason, I think.
Going to Drake, I think.
Yep, that's right. And apparently, she had record-breaking season. She only allowed 3 goals and a fourth in this game. So that's a wild statistic.
Yeah. And it's not one of those where you just have a really dominant team and an average goalkeeper. You know what I mean? Like, because you could have a dominant Waukee Northwest team without, and then the goalkeeper just doesn't get any looks. She's really strong fundamentally. Like, if you watch that clip of how she's moving as the ball gets cut back and the foul happens, I mean, she's doing everything you want her to do. And then when the ball misses, the player gets fouled to the left one, she's moving back across the goal. She's in a really good spot to save it, too.
Yeah.
She's got really good fundamentals.
So I watched her
earlier in the week.
Goalkeepers were great.
Yeah, I watched her earlier in the week, too, where she was coming off her line to win it, coming off her line to play it out of the back with her feet. I think that's a really good pickup for Drake.
Well, let me just...
and she's tall. She can get the balls up high.
Yeah, 100%. Reagan Gardner was the Valley goalkeeper. She did really well handling balls up high as well.
Yeah.
But then sort of like one of the last moments of the game, there's like 8 minutes left. I think it's Huckabee for Valley she's like kind of in on goal. She gets played in on goal after a really nice Rotich flick on. And I loved, by the way, the commentators for Iowa High School Girls Union broadcast, whatever. They would be like Rotich, and then they'd be like Olivia, and like they would call her both names. And I thought that was fun. But she flicked it on, and I mean, the goalkeeper Grace Thompson, she must have come. I mean, it must have been 25. Maybe closer even to 30 yards off her line for this ball in behind, and she clears it and just absolutely smashes whoever. I think it was Huckabee who ended up being the recipient of that. And it's like just this big collision, and they both go down, and I'm going like, good Lord. And the goalkeeper just pops right back up. She's like, she has no problem. So I was just like, I think she's going to be a good, like you said, a good pickup.
I wonder. I mean, to me, she looks like a goalkeeper who could just go, who will roll right into school and start for Drake.
Yeah, and if not starting, pushing whoever's there.
I think they have to start her. I think they lose her.
Well, fair enough. That's
with the portal, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
I mean,
she was good though, for sure.
Just because, I mean, like I'm actually that it just to me it looks like a goalkeeper that. And not to, I mean, I'm a Drake alum, but I'm surprised that just looking at her physique, someone else didn't pick her up. Like, I'm surprised.
She's tall.
I'm surprised Iowa State wasn't all over that. Maybe they were. Maybe she wanted to go to Drake.
Yeah. Well, these are parts of the things that go into it. The other player I just want to shout out that I just really like for Waukee Northwest. I don't know that she played her best soccer this week in the games I saw, but Romy Croat, the junior, right? I really like the way she plays. She's really got a command of the midfield, and when she gets the ball, she starts running with it, but then she starts looking at players. Like, she gets her heads up and start kind of like pointing players, and she's really good at playing balls into space, and like she can strike a ball. There are a few times I think she was maybe trying to do a little too much, but
the thing I like about her the most is the way she celebrates.
I was gonna say I was gonna say the exact same thing.
I agree with you. She's a really good player. I think she's a really good basketball player too.
Well, she played in the state final this last winter. Johnston ended up winning the I think it's 5A girls state title, but Waukee Northwest, I think she played in that game. I don't know what her role was necessarily, but she's big time, and so I've heard that she's getting big looks from college basketball as well.
Right, and maybe she's committed me somewhere. But so go check out our Instagram page. Evan's already got stuff posted. If you flip over to the second clip in there, you see Romy celebrating. I mean, look at that.
Yeah, she's jacked up. I love it.
And then she's jumping up and down and stuff like that. So
I've also seen her celebrate goals. Like, I love that she runs to celebrate, usually like to the corner and stuff. Because a lot of girls.
So you just have to go back a year. Go back a year in our post. Remember, she scores the free kick.
Yeah, she does like the.
Yeah, right.
Some cool little celly.
And I think I mean, just to be perfectly honest, like the girls' soccer games, and I think we don't see great celebrations from them. I think there's a little bit to be desired there. So if you want to learn how to celebrate,
Romy,
if you're an IF school soccer player, get Romy's celebrations on repeat.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting. So Joaquin Northwest, they win back to back. Word on the street is Coach Tony Gabriel. It'll be his last year. Is that true, Matt?
That's what I mean. I've heard it. I've heard it right out of his mouth. So he said he's retiring, stopping to coach at Joaquin Northwest. I mean, it's interesting to be he's now won it 2 years in a row. I don't know that they're going to be any weaker next year. So it's
I mean, that means he's literally lost 9 games in his Northwest career. Like, that's crazy.
Right. So we'll see who ends up hiring for that job. It's arguably probably the most coveted job.
High school job that's come up in a long time.
In the state, yeah. So we'll see if they stay internal. Obviously, you've got some assistants who've been around for a long time, or they open it up and go somewhere else. Who knows? Maybe Tony's already got someone appointed. You never know.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes that's
how
it works.
He's making a recommendation. Who knows?
Yeah, fair enough. Well, so another state tournament in the books. I think we've had a great week. It's a great second week and a half or whatever it is. It's been a long one for us. Now they've spread it out, but we survived. Joaquin Northwest finishes fully undefeated. Good for them. A couple draws, 3 draws on the year, but otherwise a real staple of a year. So, okay. Thanks to everybody. Shout out to Evan Killstrom Creative. Check him out on social media. He does great work, even when it's not for us, but especially when it's for us, he does excellent work. Who else are we shouting out? Sieves or Seheg?
I mean, you can shout out. Give Steve Brazil a shout out.
Let's give Steve a little shout out.
And then all the other videographers and photographers that took stuff for this week. I mean, I feel like we had our best couple of weeks of coverage and stuff like that. And there's a lot of people out there working hard. So
yeah, Austin Lundberg, Dan Menon, and Chase Modlin were our guys. In addition to Killstrom Creative. So otherwise, great year. We'll be back. Let us know if you've got any topics that you want us to cover. I'm thinking just like youth soccer and development after the World Cup. We're going to see how the World Cup goes, and then I feel like we're going to want to revisit what's happening. So,
yep.
All right, we'll see you again.